Pay raises are often given on different schedules. Firstly, annual raises are common, with most companies providing them once a year, typically around the time of performance reviews. Secondly, semi-annual raises may be offered twice a year, usually in the spring and fall. Thirdly, raises can be given as needed, with companies adjusting salaries based on performance, market trends, or changes in job responsibilities. Pay raises are based on a variety of factors. Performance is a key factor, with raises often tied to employee performance as measured through performance reviews or other assessments. Market value is also important. Companies may adjust salaries to match or exceed industry standards and attract and retain top talent. Job complexity is another consideration. Raises may be given when an employee's job responsibilities increase or become more complex. Experience and tenure can also play a role, with some companies providing incremental pay increases based on years of experience or seniority. The cost of living is sometimes factored in. Raises may be adjusted to account for inflation and changes in the cost of living. Several websites can be used for wage comparisons. Glassdoor at https://www.glassdoor.com/salary. Com at https://www.salary. Com/payscale at https://www.ascale. Com/ZipRecruiter at https://www.ZipRecruiter. Com/ and LinkedIn salary insights at https://www.linkedin. Com/salary/URL helpful resources. When basing pay raises, it's important to keep several tips in mind. Establish clear performance expectations so employees know what is expected of them to earn a raise. Use a structured review process, conducting regular performance reviews to assess employee contributions and provide feedback. Gather market data by researching industry benchmarks to ensure salaries are competitive. Be transparent about raise decisions, explaining the rationale behind pay raises to employees to build trust and motivation. Consider individual circumstances. While using a standardized approach is important, be flexible enough to adjust raises based on individual performance and contributions. Communicate raises clearly, informing employees of their pay increases and providing justification in a timely and respectful manner. These sites provide data from a variety of sources, including self-reported salaries, company surveys, and job postings. When reviewing salary data, consider factors such as job title, location, experience level, and education. This will help you to make sure that you are comparing apples to apples. It is important to consider the size and industry of the companies included in the data. Larger companies may pay more than smaller companies, and companies in some industries may pay more than companies in others. Salary ranges can vary widely, even for the same job title and experience level. When determining how much to pay an employee, it is important to consider their individual skills and qualifications. If an employee has specialized skills or a proven track record of success, they may be worth more than the average salary for their position. Ultimately, the decision of how much to pay an employee is up to the employer. However, by gathering data from a variety of sources and considering all of the relevant factors, employers can make informed decisions that are fair to both the employee and the company. Market value is the prevailing rate for a particular job in a specific geographic location. It is influenced by a number of factors, including supply and demand, the cost of living, and the overall economic climate. To determine market value, employers can use a variety of resources, such as salary surveys, online databases, and industry publications. Employers should also consider the experience, skills, and education of the employee when determining their market value. The goal is to pay employees a fair and competitive wage that will attract and retain top talent. Job complexity refers to the level of skill, knowledge, and responsibility required to perform a particular job. It is a key factor in determining the appropriate pay for a position. Jobs that are more complex typically require higher levels of education, experience, and training. They also involve greater responsibility and decision-making authority. As a result, they are typically compensated at a higher rate than less complex jobs. There are a number of ways to assess job complexity. One approach is to use a job evaluation system, which assigns points to different job factors such as skill, effort, responsibility, and working conditions. The total number of points assigned to a job is then used to determine its relative value. Another approach is to compare the job to other similar jobs in the market. This can be done by reviewing salary surveys or by contacting other employees in the same industry. When determining pay raises based on job complexity, it is important to consider the following factors. Firstly, the level of skill and knowledge required to perform the job. Secondly, the amount of responsibility and decision-making authority involved. Thirdly, the complexity of the tasks performed. Fourthly, the working conditions under which the job is performed. Fifthly, the experience and training required for the job. It is also important to be consistent in the application of these factors. All employees in similar jobs should be evaluated using the same criteria. This will help to ensure that pay raises are fair and equitable. Experience refers to the knowledge, skills, and abilities that an employee has acquired through previous work experience. Tenure refers to the length of time that an employee has been employed by a company. Both experience and tenure can be valuable assets to a company. Experienced employees typically have a better understanding of the company's operations and industry. They are also more likely to be able to solve problems and make decisions independently. Employees with longer tenure have typically demonstrated their commitment to the company. They are also more likely to be familiar with the company's culture and values. Some companies provide incremental pay increases based on years of experience or seniority. These increases are typically small, but they can add up over time. They can also help to retain employees by providing them with a sense of financial security. There are a number of factors to consider when determining pay raises based on experience and tenure. Firstly, the employee's performance. Secondly, the company's budget. Thirdly, the market rate for the employee's position. Fourthly, the employee's potential for future growth. It is also important to be consistent in the application of these factors. All employees should be evaluated using the same criteria. This will help to ensure that pay raises are fair and equitable. The cost of living is the amount of money that is needed to cover basic expenses such as housing, food, transportation, and healthcare in a particular geographic area. It can vary significantly from one location to another. For example, the cost of living is typically higher in major cities than in rural areas. Employers may adjust salaries to account for inflation and changes in the cost of living. This is often done by providing employees with a cost of living adjustment, or COLA. A COLA is a pay increase that is designed to help employees keep up with the rising cost of living. There are a number of factors to consider when determining whether to provide a COLA. Firstly, the rate of inflation. Secondly, the company's budget. Thirdly, the market rate for the employee's position. Fourthly, the employee's performance. It is also important to be consistent in the application of these factors. All employees should be evaluated using the same criteria. This will help to ensure that pay raises are fair and equitable. Communicating raises clearly is an essential aspect of employee relations and maintaining a positive work environment. Inform employees of their pay increases and provide justification in a timely and respectful manner. Clarity and transparency in communicating pay raises are crucial for several reasons. Firstly, it builds trust. When employees understand how pay decisions are made, they are more likely to trust that the process is fair and equitable. This trust fosters a positive work environment and strengthens the employer-employee relationship. Secondly, it enhances motivation. Explaining the rationale behind pay raises helps employees see the connection between their performance, contributions, and rewards. This understanding can motivate them to continue performing at a high level and contribute to the company's success. Thirdly, it reduces misunderstandings. Clear communication prevents confusion and misinterpretations about pay raises. Employees are less likely to feel undervalued or unfairly treated when they understand the reasons behind the increase. Fourthly, it reinforces performance expectations. By linking pay raises to performance metrics, employers reinforce the behaviors and outcomes that are valued by the company. This helps align employee efforts with organizational goals. To communicate pay raises effectively, consider the following tips. Firstly, schedule a private meeting. Discuss the pay raise in a one-on-one meeting, either in person or via video conference. This allows for open dialogue and provides an opportunity to address any questions or concerns. Secondly, provide a written summary. Supplement the verbal discussion with a written summary of the pay raise, including the new salary, effective date, and rationale behind the increase. This document serves as a record of the agreement and provides clarity for the employee. Thirdly, explain the rationale. Clearly explain the factors that contributed to the pay raise, such as performance, skills, market value, or job complexity. Provide specific examples of the employee's accomplishments and contributions that justified the increase. Fourthly, listen and respond. Encourage the employee to ask questions and express their thoughts about the pay raise. Listen attentively and respond thoughtfully to their concerns. Address any misunderstandings or uncertainties they may have. Fifthly, express appreciation. Acknowledge the employee's value to the company and express appreciation for their contributions. Reinforce their importance to the team and the organization as a whole. Sixthly, set future goals. Discuss future goals and expectations for the employee's performance. Collaborate on a plan for their professional development and growth within the company. This demonstrates a commitment to their long-term success and reinforces the link between performance and rewards. Seventhly, be transparent about limitations. If there are limitations on the size of the pay raise due to budget constraints or other factors, be transparent about these constraints. Explain the company's overall compensation philosophy and how pay decisions are made. Eighthly, follow up. After the meeting, follow up with the employee to ensure they have a clear understanding of the pay raise and its implications. Offer additional support or clarification as needed. Maintaining fairness in pay raises is crucial for fostering a positive work environment and ensuring employee satisfaction. Here are some tips to ensure fairness in the pay raise process. Firstly, establish clear performance expectations. Make sure employees understand what is expected of them in terms of performance and behavior. Set measurable goals and provide regular feedback to help them track their progress. Secondly, use a structured review process. Implement a formal performance review process that includes regular evaluations, feedback sessions, and documentation of employee performance. Use standardized rating scales and objective criteria to assess employee contributions. Thirdly, gather market data. Research industry benchmarks and salary surveys to determine the market value of different positions in your area. Use this data to ensure that your pay scales are competitive and aligned with market standards. Fourthly, be consistent in applying criteria. Apply the same criteria and standards to all employees when determining pay raises. Avoid favoritism or bias based on personal relationships or other irrelevant factors. Fifthly, consider individual circumstances. While it's important to have a standardized approach, be flexible enough to adjust raises based on individual circumstances, such as exceptional performance, specialized skills, or increased job responsibilities. Sixthly, be transparent about the process. Communicate the pay raise process to employees and explain how pay decisions are made. Be open about the factors that are considered and the criteria that are used. Seventhly, seek input from multiple sources. Gather feedback from multiple sources, such as supervisors, peers, and customers, to get a well-rounded view of employee performance. Use this input to inform your pay decisions. Eighthly, document everything. Keep detailed records of all performance evaluations, feedback sessions, and pay raise decisions. This documentation can help you justify your decisions and protect against potential legal challenges. Ninthly, train managers on pay equity. Provide training to managers on pay equity issues and unconscious bias. Help them understand the importance of fair and equitable pay practices. Tenthly, regularly audit pay practices. Conduct regular audits of your pay practices to identify any potential disparities or inequities. Use the results of these audits to make adjustments to your pay scales and processes.